Welcome to Leadership Labs. I'm Louise and Maurice, leadership mentor and founder of the Academy for Holistic Leadership. We are continuing with my Get Results Confidence Coaching Framework. When you hear me say client, I want you to imagine the person or group of people you lead and apply the training to your real-world leadership situations. Let's continue. In Lab 1, you learn a real-world case study that reflects a challenge leaders face every day. To protect privacy, the case study is reenacted using an AI avatar based on a real-world leadership scenario. All the resources I mention in this professional training are free and linked in the description below. Let's get started. As we're moving through the sessions of the Get Results Confidence Coaching Program, we are now on session number 7, and we are on the U of Get Results. And as we continue on, I'll be sharing with you what the U stands for, but I'll give you a little bit of a hint. You are going to meet a sample client. And as we continue on with the 10 P's of being a successful Get Results Confidence Coach, we're going to understand more about this person. And then the physiology, as well as the coaching process, the procedures, the neuro-linguistic programming procedures. Those are the coaching techniques that we are using in this course. The phrasing as well as the performance. We're going to deal with that all in this session, but specific to session number 7 and the U of Get Results. Now, our sample client, you have been hired by a company. You want to understand people because every single person that you are going to be meeting with, they are going to be different. You've seen that so far. Now this is our 7th client, and she's going to be different. But what I want you to key in on as you are listening to her talk, and she's sharing with you, I want you to listen in on what is the identity? How does she see herself? How does she identify herself? And are you able to pick that up as you are listening to her? All right, let's listen in.
They should know who they're dealing with. I graduated top of my class. At a top university. They should know I'm not just some run-of-the-mill team member. I have what it takes to run this entire place. I've proven myself. I've worked hard. I've earned it. But then, compared to everyone else, I feel worthless. That's how I'm made to feel. Day in and day out. It's like they don't even see me. It's like I don't exist. And that's not why I joined this company. I didn't come here to be invisible. I came here to make a difference. To lead. To contribute. To be recognized for what I bring. So yes. Changes are going to happen. Because I can't keep feeling this way. I won't keep feeling this way.
In that last lecture, you had an opportunity to meet our client, and your success as a confidence coach really comes about when you can understand people better than they understand themselves, because when you can do that, then you can ask better questions. You can really get down to what is the real problem. Because if you're being hired by a company, then you're going into situations that are unknown to you. And the more that you can understand people and really develop the skills that I've been sharing with you, then it helps you to, again, find out what the problem is so you can move them beyond those blocks and obstacles. Now, obviously, I have mapped out this program so that it's easy for you. You just ask these questions, but when you are first meeting with people, your ability to be that detective, to listen for the clues that help you to understand them, that's something that will continually evolve. And your ability to be able to think on your feet, that's what I want you to feel competent in. And your competence in that area will definitely build your confidence as a confidence coach. All right, when you were listening to her, she's talking, were you able to identify how she identifies with herself? Yeah, it's a little challenging at the beginning because the beginning is all of the bravado, how she's telling you how much smarter that she is because she has so many degrees and she's comparing herself to other people, and of course she's smarter. But at the end of it, you're able to realize that she really feels worthless compared to everyone else. She's feeling worthless. She's feeling like, I just might not have what it takes. But even though she has so much going on for her, and that's where that main identity, how she has identified herself, that comes out loud and clear. And she will try to do things to prove that she's not worthless, to prove a different identity, but that becomes her core or main identity. How do you work with a client like this when you know they have so much going for them, but they don't know that? Well, in the next lecture, we'll talk about the physiology. We'll talk about the neuro-linguistic programming procedure, that coaching technique that you are going to use. Let's continue. Let's get right into the meat of the training of this lecture because it's important. Understanding how people, their identity, how it's formed is invaluable for you as a coach because you're able to guide your clients beyond what they're feeling inside. And this is key to understand because core identities are formed very early on, and most of the time in the womb, especially for parents who they want a boy so badly. They did everything that they thought they should do to have a boy because in their family, it has to be a boy. They have to have a boy. The firstborn has to be a boy in their culture, in their family, because for generation after generation after generation, they always have to have a boy. And I say this because I've had so many female clients who are the firstborn and they are girls. And they have always had that identity of, I'm worthless. I'm not worth as much as if I were born a boy. And their whole lives, they're out there trying to prove themselves worthy of being a part of that family. And this is where babies can sense that, and people don't even realize that. And even if they don't have the ultrasound and know beforehand when that baby is born and it's not a boy, it's that feeling of disappointment that everyone in the room has, like, oh. So the mother feels disappointed that she didn't give her husband that boy, and the husband is disappointed because he's let down every generation before him. And then after that, however many seconds or minutes of disappointment, then they realize, oh, they have this healthy baby, even though she's just a girl and not a boy. Oh, at least she's still healthy. Damage done. Because then there's the reminders always, and not necessarily from the parents, but from the grandparents or great grandparents and so forth, that, oh, well, you didn't have a boy, but at least at least she's healthy. And seriously. So these are the stories that I have been hearing, and this is what happens. So, yes. What gender that a baby is born really does determine that core identity, especially if it's just a big disappointment. And it can be the reverse too. I've seen many situations where families have had boy after boy and they just want a girl, and the boys have that feeling as well. However, I share that with you because in my experience, it has been the females that have been impacted the most by that. Now, as we continue on, we'll talk more about this, but the mental health, that identity, how they think about themselves, and definitely the emotions that they have, it's all impacted, and they always try to prove the opposite. And that's where the logical levels comes in. And the logical levels for neuro-linguistic programming really are just all of those layers. And if you can think of it as an onion, and that core identity is in the middle, and the layers, just, you got to keep peeling back those layers, because each layer determines, okay, the environment that they grew up in, the gender, and the expectations, as well as the upbringing based on that. And then even birth order, the oldest, the middle child, the youngest, and so forth, depending on how many children that were in the house, and the income level. All of this really comes into play. But we're going to look at, again, you're not going to diagnose, but I'm going to share with you, yes, the diagnosis, the treatment, the therapy, and the recovery. And we move through these logical levels. We'll look at an online resource that really makes it easy so that your clients can connect with that identity. And is that identity something that they are so attached to that if they were to let go of it, that they would either be confident or not confident? We'll look at all of that as we move on. Now, in the next lecture, it's your preparation as a coach. I'll share with you what the you means in Get Results, and then your client's preparation. Let's continue. Thank you for completing this Confidence Coaching Leadership Lab. Every skill you practice here strengthens your ability to lead with clarity, confidence, and grounded presence in real-world situations. If you'd like to continue developing your human-centered leadership and coaching skills, you'll find additional resources, leadership labs, and professional training. Links in the description below. I appreciate you being here and investing in your growth as a leader.